Mediation: how Tom Cruise settled his wildest legal dispute. What happens when a dyslexic kid from Syracuse outruns his demons, outsmarts the tabloids, and outmaneuvers Hollywood's fiercest legal storms, all while dangling from airplanes and dodging divorce lawyers? This isn't just a story. It's a high-speed, high-stakes, high-altitude odyssey through the life of Tom Cruise, the man who turned charm into currency, controversy into choreography, and courtroom drama into quiet diplomacy. From the chaotic childhood shaped by a father he called a merchant of chaos, to the meteoric rise that made him Maverick before he could legally rent a car. From 3 marriages that read like Shakespearean acts to 3 divorces resolved not with scandal, but with surgical mediation. From tabloid torpedoes that accused him of abandoning his daughter, to a $50 million lawsuit that nearly blew the roof off the publishing world. And from the legal samurai Burt Fields, who wielded words like weapons, to the courtroom that never was, where reputations were defended behind closed doors. How did Tom Cruise survive the Hollywood machine without becoming its casualty? Why did he choose mediation over litigation, and what secrets were buried in those settlements? What does it take to be the man who runs faster than scandal, scales buildings taller than his critics, and still finds time to be a father, a fighter, and a franchise? This is not just a documentary. It's a mission. It's a confession. It's a masterclass in reputation, resilience, and reinvention. Born on July 3, 1962 in Syracuse, New York, Tom Cruise, Mapother 4, entered the world with a name that sounded like a Roman senator and a destiny that would make Zeus jealous. His mother, Mary Lee Pfeiffer, was a special education teacher with the patience of a saint. His father, Thomas Cruise Mapother III, was an electrical engineer with the temperament of a thunderstorm. Tom would later describe him as a merchant of chaos, a poetic way of saying Dad was the kind of guy who'd short-circuit Christmas. The family moved like fugitives: Ohio, New Jersey, Canada, each new zip code a fresh start, each school a new battlefield. And speaking of battles, young Tom had a nemesis that followed him everywhere: dyslexia. Words danced on the page like caffeinated ants. Reading was agony. Teachers mistook his silence for defiance. But Tom had something they couldn't measure: charisma. He could charm a vending machine into giving him free soda. At 19, while most teens were still figuring out how to parallel park, Cruise landed a role in Endless Love, 1981. It was a blink-and-you'll-miss-it part, but it opened the door. By 1983, he was stealing scenes in risky business, sliding across the floor in socks and underwear like a suburban rock god. Then came 1986, Top Gun. Pete Maverick Mitchell, the aviator shades, the volleyball scene, the need for speed. Cruise didn't just become a star, he became a cultural weather system. Teenage boys wanted to be him. Teenage girls wanted to date him. And Hollywood wanted to clone him. Tom Cruise's romantic life reads like a Shakespearean trilogy: 3 marriages, 3 divorces, and yes, 3 mediations. Let's dive in. Cruise met Mimi Rogers at a party in the mid-1980s. She was older, elegant, and had the kind of spiritual curiosity that made yoga instructors look shallow. She introduced him to Scientology, a religion that would become central to his identity. They married in 1987, but by 1990, the curtain had closed. There were no screaming matches, no TMZ exclusives, just whispers of mediation behind closed doors. Insiders say they parted like adults at a wine tasting, civil, quiet, and slightly tipsy on dignity. Cruise met Nicole Kidman on the set of Days of Thunder in 1989. She was luminous, with a voice like velvet and curls that defied gravity. They married in 1990, adopted 2 children, Isabella and Connor, and became Hollywood royalty. But by 1999, they were starring in Eyes Wide Shut, a film about a couple unraveling. Art imitated life a little too closely. In 2001, Cruise filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. Translation: we loved each other, but not enough to survive Stanley Kubrick. Once again, mediation stepped in like a diplomatic butler. Millions in assets, 2 children, and 0 public drama. Kidman later said, "I thought our life together was perfect. It wasn't." Oof, that quote hits harder than a Kubrick monologue. Enter Katie Holmes, the doe-eyed darling of Dawson's Creek. In 2005, she was America's sweetheart. In 2006, she was Mrs. Cruise. Their romance was a whirlwind. By month 3, she was pregnant. By month 6, they were married in a lavish Italian ceremony. Giorgio Armani designed the dress. David Miscavige, head of Scientology, reportedly stood beside Cruz like a spiritual bodyguard. But by June 2012, Holmes had had enough. The whispers were deafening: control issues, Scientology pressure, and a desire to protect her daughter, Suri Cruz, from growing up in a religious fishbowl. Holmes filed for divorce in New York, seeking sole custody. The world braced for a legal war. Instead, they got a mediation miracle. In just 11 days, the couple reached a settlement. Holmes got custody, Cruz got a visitation. The tabloids got nothing but speculation and blurry photos of Suri holding a stuffed giraffe. It was October 2012, and the ink on Tom Cruise's divorce from Katie Holmes was barely dry. The world was still reeling from the speed of their split. 11 days, a custody agreement, and not a single leaked voicemail. But then came the headlines. Life and Style and In Touch Weekly, two tabloids under the umbrella of Bauer Publishing, ran stories claiming that Cruz had abandoned his daughter Suri. The word was brutal: abandoned, as if Cruz had packed his aviator shades and vanished into the Himalayas. Cruz, a man who once clung to the side of a flying Airbus A400M for a movie scene, was not about to let his parenting be questioned by a magazine that also ran stories about alien pregnancies. He filed a $50 million defamation lawsuit, and the legal world perked up like a caffeinated paralegal. Cruz didn't just hire a lawyer. He summoned Burt Fields, a man whose legal resume included defending Michael Jackson, the Beatles, and Steven Spielberg. Fields was the kind of attorney who could cross-examine a hurricane. He called the tabloid claims a disgusting, vicious lie. Not just wrong, vicious. The kind of lie that gnaws at your soul and leaves crumbs on your reputation. Bauer Publishing, not one to back down, countered that their reporting was substantially true. Translation: we think we're right, and we're willing to say it with a straight face. But Cruz's team had a secret weapon. They threatened to expose Bauer's history of bigotry and hatred toward minority religious groups. This was a veiled reference to Scientology, the religion Cruz had embraced since his marriage to Mimi Rogers. The implication? Bauer's coverage wasn't just sloppy, it was malicious. Just as the legal fireworks were about to light up the sky, the U.S. District Court stepped in with a twist worthy of a Mission Impossible plot. In March 2013, the judge ordered the case to private mediation. Why? Because mediation is where reputations go to be defended without being shredded. It's quieter, cleaner, and doesn't involve a jury of 12 people who still think Jerry Maguire was a documentary. Behind closed doors, lawyers sparred like intellectual gladiators. Cruz's team argued that the articles had damaged his image as a devoted father. Bauer's attorneys likely pointed to paparazzi photos and calendar gaps. The room was thick with tension, legal pads, and probably a few passive-aggressive muffins. Eventually, a settlement was reached. The terms? Confidential. The outcome? Cruz walked away with his dignity intact, his reputation defended, and his daughter shielded from the circus. While the tabloids tried to write his obituary, Cruz was busy rewriting the rules of stardom. He's been nominated for 3 Academy Awards, won 3 Golden Globes, and starred in over 40 films. And then there's the Mission Impossible franchise. With over $4 billion in global box office, it's not just a series, it's a cinematic religion. Cruz has hung off the side of a plane at 5,000 feet, scaled the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building on Earth, performed a halo jump from 25,000 feet, broken his ankle mid-stunt, and kept filming. He doesn't just run in movies, he sprints. Through explosions, through courtrooms, through controversy, and he does it with the precision of a lawyer and the grace of a diplomat. Tom Cruise's greatest stunt wasn't in Top Gun or Mission Impossible. It was navigating the treacherous waters of fame, fatherhood, and tabloid warfare without losing his cool. He used mediation not as a retreat, but as a strategic maneuver, a way to protect what mattered most without turning his life into a public trial. As Burt Fields once said, Tom is a man who knows what he wants and how to get it without burning the world down. Tom Cruise didn't just survive Hollywood, he mastered it. He dodged scandal, outran controversy, and settled his most personal battles not with lawyers in courtrooms, but with mediators in quiet rooms. He chose dignity over drama, privacy over publicity. Was mediation the best option for Tom Cruise? What if he had gone with litigation? Let us know what you think in the comment section. Before we dive deeper into this whirlwind of fame, fire, and finesse, make sure to hit that follow button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell so you never miss a single twist, turn, or truth bomb.